Standing in front of your relatively new apartment, your new clothes drenched from the dirty city rain, you wonder what you ever did to deserve this, especially on your birthday. You were actually excited to celebrate your birthday this year, but apparently, fate wasn't as ecstatic as you were. You woke up 30 minutes late due to a power outage that completely fried your alarm clock. Instead of having a sense of understanding, your boss harshly reprimanded you in front of all your coworkers, none of which actually wished you a happy birthday. You ended up having to work overtime. You and your friends were supposed to go out that night, but they assumed that you had bailed due to the work and cancelled plan without your knowledge. They didn't even tell you, and you took the bus all the way to the bar in your nicest outfit and hair. To top it all off, none of your family members even so much as bothered texting you a happy birthday, too busy with their own lives. Ah yeah, and it started raining on the way back. Are you kidding me? You grumbled to yourself, already feeling the runny nose you were probably going to have later that night. Sluggishly, you walked into your apartment, throat ties and eyes burning. You threw your purse on the floor and winced at the sloshing sound it made. In the apartment next to you, you could briefly hear the sound of music and people cheerfully laughing. Sounds like they were having fun. Clenching your jaw in envy, you looked down at your drenched figure. You could really use a shower. You didn't want to even look at yourself in the mirror, too afraid to see a walking zombie rather than a human being. Instead, you peeled off your clothes and went into the shower. Of course, the water was cold. Like any good shower, you were left alone with your thought. Great. Sure, you weren't expecting a lavish celebration, but you were at least expecting something. You truly wondered if anyone cared about you, or if anyone would. Coming out of the shower, you managed to find a few clean clothes from the hamper. Your whole college t-shirt and athletic short that haven't seen the light of day since you started working your 9-to-5 job. You lie down on your bed, not caring that the pillow was getting wet or that you could be doing somewhat productive. You should probably do the laundry or wash the dishes or something. Instead, you were crying. It was pathetic, really. Instead of going out with friends or having dinner with your family or dancing the night away in some lousy club, you were lying down in your bed like a loser crying about your shitty birthday. You really should have seen it coming. Ever since you started your job, you could slowly feel yourself slipping away from your loved one. As much as it pained you, it wasn't totally their fault. You had already constantly bailed out on plans, including Christmas and birthday, because of work obligations. In retrospect, they should have even given the time of the day if you didn't bother giving in to them. What this was being an adult was all about, constantly tired and constantly lonely, slowing slipping away from society, was you could hear the neighbor next to you screaming and laughing like hyenas. One was audibly angry, screaming at another, saying something akin to, "Are you fucking shitting me? What the fuck was the damage, my guy?" While the other were just laughing at him. As they continued to wreak havoc, you couldn't help but stare angrily at the wall. You were having an emotional breakdown without an ice cream or alcohol to help compensate, and they were interrupted by your melodramatic crises because of Mario Kart? Fucking Mario Kart? You felt the vein pop in your head. You've had your fair share of noisy neighbors, but you never to the extent. Honestly, you didn't know if you actually mentally snapped because you usually would have ignored them and report them to the landlord in the morning. Plus, you weren't one to ruin people's fun. However, there was something so fucked up about spending your birthday listening to other people celebrating with friends, like the universe was mocking you. You didn't even notice that you were slamming on your neighbor's door until he opened it. Jeez, can you guys quiet down? Sero sighed, rubbing his head. The neighbors might actually think someone's getting murdered. Oh, fucking someone's getting murdered. Bakugo said with a feral look, eyeing Kaminari like a piece of prey. Kaminari gulped when Bakugo let Sero closed. For fucking bullshitting me when I was in first place. Sero and Kirishima watched as Kaminari cried for mercy before being tackled by the angry blonde, a sense of exasperation looming over them. Mina, however, was recording the entire thing on Snapchat. Yeah, beat his ass! Mina laughed as Kaminari whimpered for his life. Really, Sero didn't plan all of this. It was exhausting enough moving into a new place. He loved his parents, but he didn't want to stay with them forever and moving all of his furniture in. But Kirishima and Mina has insisted on coming and throwing a housewarming party, and Sero knew that if they set their mind to something, there was no way that he could try and stop them. However, he wished he was a little more reluctant, because now Mina and Kirishima were laughing like hyenas when Kaminari got Bakugo into a chokehold and Bakugo's eyes popped out like a bobblehead, screaming like a gremlin. He looked like a fucking Furby! Kirishima held her breath. He was definitely going to get complaints tomorrow morning. Still, he was laughing along with them, signature smile on his face. There was a knock at the door, and they all immediately stopped laughing, save for Bakugo's choking sound. Sero ground and flipped them off, and Mina only shrugged nonchalantly. Seriously, maybe he needed new friends. He definitely didn't want to be yelled at by some old lady or something. The knocking grew louder and more impatient, and Sero felt a little more irritated. I'm coming! Sero called, getting up from the couch as Mina snickered at him. He felt a little bad, but it was hard to feel sorry when someone was pounding away at the door. Sure, they were loud, but it wasn't like they were obnoxious the entire time. The minute they started laughing, he's already getting a pounding at the door. It was probably some old geezer or something who hated kids. Sero really didn't expect a very attractive person standing on his doormat. Can you please, just shut fucking quiet down? He exasperated, more desperate than angry, but still a whole lot of anger. Sorry that you got bloodshed or whatever, but it's a weekday. Now, Sero had a witty insult on the tip of his tongue before he even reached the door, but all was forgotten when he saw the expression on your face. Your eyes were puffy and red, a slight gleam at the edge of your eyes, and your lips were wobbling slightly. You were crying. Instead of saying sorry, he asked, Are you okay? You blinked once, then twice. What? He spluttered, realizing that it was probably weird for him to say that out of the blue. Sero hopes he wasn't embarrassing himself in front of his neighbor too badly. You looked like you were crying or something. He wanted to mentally slap himself. Someone please punch him. Your eyes widened, and suddenly, your eyes widened. You patted at your cheeks, then whipped away anything that indicated sadness. No, I wasn't. He frowned. Yes, you were. You can't prove anything. Maybe I'm seeing things. Sero pondered, kind of amused at how adamant you were about defending yourself when it was so obvious. But maybe the tears in your eyes made me think that you were crying. You fumed. Well, what if it was? That's not the point. The point is that you're being too loud, and I'd appreciate if you quiet down a bit. Please. He closed the door behind him, muffling the sound of music and his friend laughing. What's wrong? He asked, softer than he'd like to admit. Hey, it wasn't every day that someone came crying on his doorstep, but it was second nature for him to try and help people. You backed away a little, like a cat cowering in the corner of an alleyway. I told you I'm fine. It's just late and I'm really tired now. If you excuse me. Listener! You landlady said as she walked past the both of you. Sarah had only met her once, but she was sweet enough. I forgot to tell you this morning, but happy birthday! She walked away, humming a tune. He raised an eyebrow at you, and you looked like you wanted the floor to swallow you whole. Birthday? He inquired. Yeah, you said, swallowing. So what? The whole situation would have been hilarious if he didn't notice the slight trembling in your shoulder. Oh, the way your eyes were slightly glossy. Look, if you don't want to talk about it, it's okay, Sero sighed, a bit defeated. After all, it wasn't like he knew you too deeply, and he didn't want to impose on anything. But you look a little bummed, and honestly, you look like you could use a friend. Friend. That was all it took for the dam to start crumbling. You felt warmth on your cheeks, and you vaguely realized that they were all your own tears slipping from your eyes. They didn't stop, but continued as your mouth began to wobble and you sobbed quietly into your hands. You probably looked like an absolutely cracked at the moment, face flushed with emotion. Your eyes were surrounded with dark circles, aching to a raccoon because of how exhausting your work was. You knew that you should probably had a mustard stain on it, and you should probably care more about your appearance to your obviously handsome and nice neighbor. However, it didn't stop the waterworks after all. Sero, on the other hand, was freaking out. Shit! He managed to make his cute neighbor cry in the first meeting. Should he slowly back away into his apartment, pat them on the back, hug them? Sorry, You managed to choke out. It's been a rough couple months and I just moved out there too. And so far everything's going to shit. My job sucks, but it's the best you can get when you newly graduate from drawing in debt. I haven't seen my family and friends since graduation and I can only afford instant noodles. Today was my birthday and I thought that maybe it would get better, but I ended up late at my jobs, working overtime, my friends bailing on my plans, and walking home in the rain. No one even wished me happy birthday except the landlady. But, oh God, it's stupid. Maybe I deserve this, and Sarah pulled you into a hug, instantly shutting you up. Honestly, it wasn't the best at comforting people besides saying stupid jokes and awkward finger guns. However, he knew it wasn't time for jokes. Hey, no one deserved that kind of treatment, right? He asked, hoping you didn't notice that he had never done this before or that his heart was beating out of his chest. Especially you. From the look of it, you're incredibly hardworking and care about your friends and family a lot. If they don't appreciate you, then it's their loss, huh? No one should spend their birthday alone. You were very aware that your tears were currently staining his t-shirt and that you were in a very uncomfortable hug, but you wrapped your arm around him anyway, closing your eyes and taking a deep breath. It's been a long time since you've hugged someone, and you hoped he didn't realize how touch-starved you were. I'm sorry about your shirt. You mumbled into his t-shirt, and his chest rumbled from the look he emitted. Please stop apologizing, he said. I'm sorry. He gave you a look, and you laughed slightly into his chest. Sarah's heart swelled with emotion. He made you laugh. If he died in that moment, he would die happy, because at least he made you a little bit better. I don't know if I can make my friends quiet down anytime soon, Sero admitted, nervously scratching the back of his head when the both of you pulled apart. They barely listen to me when I do yell at them. But we have pizza and drinks and Mario Kart if you want to come over and hang, as compensation for your suffering. Your mouth twitched slightly upright, and you put a finger to your chin in for contemplation. I don't know. I wouldn't want the neighbor to file a nose complaint. He grinned, heart stuttering in his chest. Don't worry, my neighbor is a pretty cool person, emphasis on the pretty. He laughed, and his smile only grew brighter. Well, I can't say no to that offer then. Later that night, after you wash your face and change your clothes and brush your hair, you go over to Sarah's apartment a little nervous. However, that all quickly faded away after an hour. You're currently laughing at Bakugo's face after he lost to you at Mario Kart, Kaminari's unforgettable laughter that sounded like a dying monkey, Mina stomping, Kirishima trying to coax his friend, and Sero bumping shoulder with you on the couch. Needless to say, maybe it wasn't the worst birthday in the world, especially when it was the day you met your future best friend and boyfriend. Even with the noise complaint, you got the next day.
Sero, I couldn't be on the Sero.